Mighty number 9. Someone had to enjoy that game. What? How y'all doing? I've been thinking today. Surprise, really, isn't it? A bit worried. Why? Preface. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I complained people do. What I said people did yesterday. Right? I'm going to talk about Steam Deck. Why? Little story. This morning, my oldest son, Dad, Tekken 8 trailer has just dropped. Well psyched. Tekken 8? Alright, cool. Another fighting game that I get to have my ass beat in. My eldest son, the one who was playing Mighty number 9, he likes Tekken, he likes fighting games. And once he learnt some 10-string combos in Tekken 7, the boy was a damn nightmare. Absolute nightmare. It became like, the groove for me was like, okay, I'm just going to have to learn every single one of his moves, every single one of his combo strings, learn how to dodge them, not get hit, and then punish accordingly. Because that's the only way I'm going to win. Execution is not going to be on my side here. I'm too old. So I checked out the trailer for Tekken 8. And my God, I think the characters, it looks very pretty, but the perspective they shoot looked a bit derpy to me. The characters looked a little small, but then I was just watching on a phone, right? But it looked really pretty. And it was one of those PlayStation State of Play things, yeah? And at the end it says, like, PlayStation 5. No PlayStation 4. I was like, oh, hello. So, current gen exclusive. None of this cross-gen fluff that we've been having for a while. So, but please tell me it's not a PlayStation exclusive. It didn't say anything else about other platforms. It wouldn't. It was a state of play thing. But after a bit of digging, found on the Twitters that Bandai Namco, it's got PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Steam. Thankfully, S is on that list. Doesn't matter to me because I've got a Series X and I've got a PlayStation 5. I just really didn't want to have a fighting game exclusive on PlayStation because that was one of the things that really irked me last generation. Fighting games being exclusive to certain platforms, I just wanted to punch the planet. You know, I did not want to just have my PlayStation to be able to play like Under Night or Guilty Gear or Street Fighter or something like that. It was just so infuriating. And because Street Fighter was one of the ones that was pushed by Sony at the time, it was an exclusive. Everything tournament ready on tournaments was PlayStation. That was the preferred platform. All your fight sticks, chances are, PlayStation compatible. So annoying. But all of the console exclusives came to PC. So if it was exclusive to PlayStations, meaning it weren't going to be on Xbox, it would still be on PC. That was groovy. That was rad. But looking at it, Tekken, and seeing that it was going to be a current gen exclusive, I was like, oh, damn, is this going to be like one of the first current gen exclusive games I've properly played? It isn't, actually, because there was Sackboy's Adventure, that Astro's Playroom, I don't remember, right? Like any other game outside of fluff that came out on a I don't know. I don't know what any of the exclusive this gen games are, kind of thing, right? And I was thinking about PC games. Well, what is the only real big current gen game I've played? And I'm going to lump in Cyberpunk because let's be fair, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One could not play it, but on PC it ran brilliantly. Which brings me to my kind of concerns, yeah? If these games are now moving up to current gen, how well are they going to run on the Steam Deck? Because a lot of the games that we're playing right now are PlayStation 4 games. Well, they're games that have had PlayStation 4 variants. They'll run fine, in theory. When you start getting to the big boy games, there might be some issues. Now, the reason I bring up Cyberpunk is because Cyberpunk does run on Steam Deck, and it runs really quite well. Although I do wonder how that one section in Arasaka Tower is going to run, because that ran like ass, even on PC. There's a section when you're going through like loads of like trees or bushes or something at the top of a skyscraper. Frame rate was not your friend at that point. If that ran on Steam Deck, that'd be great. There are still some games, though, that they're not happy on deck through CPU or GPU limitations. How far can we push it? I don't mind playing games at, say, 720p low if it means I get to have them on the deck. If I can still play Tekken 8 on the deck, that'll be great. If I can still play Street Fighter 6, that'll be great on the deck, you know? But I'm a tad like, how much more can we eke out of the little thing? Because it does, from what I understand, it does compete with the Xbox Series S. When I bring up the Series S, it competes with the Series S somewhat with resolution and settings adjustments. That's fantastic. Thank you, Series S, as long as developers are targeting your system, as long as people are targeting the lower end Xbox system as well, as long as they make sure it runs well on that, shouldn't have too much of a problem. But, well, I suppose then the only other issues we're going to have are like anti-cheats. And yeah, it would just be anti-cheats. I was going to say DRMs, but that's not really a thing. It would be anti-cheats, because those traditionally don't work on Linux. But Harada and Bandai Namco would be mental if they didn't put Tekken 8, make Tekken 8 work on Steam Deck. That's a great little box for fighting games on the go. It's just like how, because it is quite gutless. It is amazing what we're able to do with it, but now that we're getting games that aren't cross-gen, so they're not catering to the super low-end PlayStation 4, Xbox One, what are we going to have to do to get these games to run? And what games aren't going to run? I already know that FIFA 23 might not work because of EA's new anti-cheat they're putting in. I don't play FIFA, but it would be nice if it did run. I'd like every game to run eventually, without having to have a revision Steam Deck 2 to get that little bit of extra power. But some of these games are going to be really beautiful in the future. They already are beautiful if you can bump up those settings, but if they're not optimized right, if that PC port's terrible, the deck's going to suffer. And I really like playing on the deck, so much so that I've practically retired Belial, which is my big boy PC with a 3080 in it. Yeah, so just a little bit more thought on it. Some people would really QQ about the idea of, say, 720p low on everything, right? But that's the ideal thing to do on something like the Steam Deck. You don't need medium or high. There's a lot of wiggle room available to a lot of these devices these days, simply because it's not like how it was when I was a lad. You know, I'm kind of lacking in the fluff department and plenty down here, right? And I'm old and haggard, yeah? So understand that I come from a time where computers were made out of stone and dinosaurs walked the earth. These days, you don't need ultra presets to make a game look good like you did back in the day. You needed ultra presets, high or ultra presets, a supercomputer, and you were good to go. If you didn't, like if you had those settings, the game looked like it did on the box. If you set the game to low or medium or anything that wasn't like high ultra, you were basically playing the game like it was made out of Play-Doh and crayons. You know, like the characters just didn't look like what they were supposed to. A tree looked like it was made out of like fucking pipe cleaner and stuff like that, you know? It just, stuff didn't look right. Instead of actually having the graphics department, like the lead designers working on it, the actual big guys in the graphics department flexing to make something look pretty, it looked like you had the intern in there going, oh, look, that's a tree. Like, what is that? It's just like a stick with like a puffy thing on the top, you know? Stuff looked terrible on low and medium back in the day. That's just how it was. But then, as we started to move through, the companies, with consoles at least, it was thanks to consoles that games just generally got better, was that the lower presets that consoles would use were made to look better. They were more efficient, but they looked better. They didn't look like crayon. They didn't look like someone had just kind of smeared paint over a canvas kind of thing. You could actually see what they were. There was detail there. Low medium looked good. Like, I'm not kidding you, man. Go and find a copy of like Far Cry 1 or Crysis or just turn the settings down to nothing and be like, whoa, is this the same game? Like, this looks like a game from the NES. Is this like an NES game or an Atari game? I'm not kidding you. The difference between low and like ultra presets back in those days, massive. The difference between kind of low mediums and ultras these days, it's not that much. It's like lighting, shadow effects, particle effects, that kind of thing. Like extras, bells and whistles. But for the most part, the game still looks pretty solid, right? Example, I don't know how accurate this is because I haven't looked hugely into it, but I had heard that Control Definitive Edition, right, a game I really like, I call it the concrete game, right, where basically Jessie Faden, the main character, just fucking pulls concrete out. She's got mind powers, right? Pulls concrete out of the ground and just fucking, you don't have to shoot anyone, just pull that concrete up and just lob it at people and they disintegrate, and it's beautiful. I love Control. It's some top-notch Remedy stuff. The game looks beautiful on anything you play it on. I promise you, there is no platform out there that you can play Control on right now where you'd go, this looks shit. Like, there just fucking isn't one. It looks great, but here's the trick. On consoles, I think even on like PlayStation 5 and the series consoles, it was on fucking low, mate. That was PC low settings, and it looked phenomenal. It played brilliantly. So it's not all about having the higher settings and the bells and whistles. There's plenty of flex to be had. I'm just a tad concerned. That's all, you know. Will companies optimize for the deck, or will you potentially see companies pull an EA and go, let's come up with a new anti-cheat solution that isn't going to work on Linux, and we're not going to keep Linux in mind. I hope EA. I hope you think about the whole Linuxy thing, but I don't see you doing it. You might not. It's up to the developers at the end of the day who make the games that implement these things, you know, what happens, how it works, and all that kind of stuff. Because just because EA develops it doesn't mean it has to be there. But yeah, because I just really want to see like Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, and just all of these like new games, current gen games made for Xbox Series S and X and PlayStation 5. I want to see those things function on the Steam Deck. I really want to see it. Even if it is 720 low, or in the case of the portable mode, like 800p low. Give the games to me. If they need to run at 30, let them run at 30. If they need to run at 60, make sure you do whatever needs to be done to make them run at 60. But if a PC port sucks, it's going to run like complete ass on the Steam Deck, and I don't know, I've just had this, because Harada, the guy, one of the guys behind Tekken, like the face of Tekken, was blown away that they got Ace Combat and Tekken 7 running on the Steam Deck just by pressing the go button. Right? And he's like, oh, yeah, Harada's a bit of a cheeky git, but like, he's like, oh yeah, you know, I'd love to have a Steam Deck. Like, can I keep this? And they're like, no. And he's like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. Like, well, I guess when I can get one, then I'll get one, and then I'll do this. Like, he genuinely seemed to like it. I would hope that he and his team would go, let's make this work on the deck, because that would be rad. We can put this on a portable console and make it work, or a portable PC and make it work. That would be absolutely great, especially now we're getting out of this console exclusivity thing, if we can. Right now I am just talking about fighting games, but I would like to see other games go as well. But yeah, it's not like back in the day, and it does blow my mind. The Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, around that time, universal control schemes for console and PC, and medium low graphics looking not phenomenal. You'd still want to play your modern games with your high ultra presets and your ray tracing if you can, but man, they don't look as bad as they used to on the lower settings. So yeah, there is plenty of wiggle room, but I really hope I can play those games on the go. But I'm heading off. So I hope you're well. I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one.